Hello friends of Team Bodyfire and JH Bodyfire, how are you guys? Now listen, we like to always try and do some videos about informing you about the latest training techniques, treatment techniques out there, kit, apparel, supplements, food, whatever you want. Now I put lots of things out on my social media about one character in particular, and I thought I had to bring him in to introduce you because he's had a real important influence on my life in the last couple of years. Welcome, Travis Allen.
You thought he was going to say his dad, didn't you?
Yeah.
Kind of like that, kind of like his dad.
He's definitely not my dad, but he is old as oh, I can't say that, sorry. He's definitely not my dad, but he is old as hell. Not really.
Oh, really? Slightly more experienced.
Life experience. So Travis, I've talked about, and we've tweeted a lot, you tweet to lots of people about something called MAT. Could you explain to all of our followers what MAT is, please, and how it can help them?
Well, MAT is an acronym for Muscle Activation Techniques, which is a technique born out of the States, Denver, Colorado. The biomechanics consultant that brought it about is a guy called Greg Roscoff, who works with the Denver Broncos, has been instrumental in turning around Peyton Manning's career, as well as he's been involved with the team for years. So he was...
Just to judge you, Peyton Manning's an NFL player who had major neck surgery, thought his career was over, he's come back from the dead, and I don't know, he played the Super Bowl final last year?
Super Bowl final the year before, but at 37 he's been breaking records for quarterbacks and all the rest of it. So he's playing his best American football at this age. So he's been instrumental in his return, as well as keeping other players on the field, etc. So yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways to describe it, but what it is a way of checking in on the muscular integrity of the body. So what that means really is, how well can the muscular system respond to force. So whether you're an athlete or whether you're a weekday warrior, your ability to respond to force is paramount in your training and also your recovery.
Okay, so for people out there, how does it? How would it help? So I came and saw you, never heard of MAT before, didn't know anything about it, got introduced to a friend. I came and saw you. What stuff did you do with me to start with?
We'll set the same starting point with anybody, whether you're an athlete or just an everyday sort of person. But what you're not really doing is assessing joint by joint range of motion. So what an MAT specialist is looking to do is look for the biggest asymmetries in the body. So we're not there to treat pain, kind of like a muscle mechanic. So where we see a restriction in range of motion, instead of thinking about the muscles that are tight, we're thinking about the muscles that are weak. So we're trying to drive up the contractile capability of the weak tissues.
So for people in the street who aren't necessarily athletes, what kind of results would they look to get from MAT?
Well, I mean, it really depends on what they're coming to me with. So I get people that are coming with things like back pain, knee pain, shoulder pain. That generally, by the time they get to me, they've tried everything else. So they've tried physio, they've tried osteo, they've tried massage, and they're kind of at the end of the line. And the first thing I can tell them is that with MAT, we're not going to do any of those things. It's a different approach, and where it's different is that we look at muscular tightness as being secondary to muscular weakness. So a lot of those other modalities are interested in trying to get rid of that muscular tightness. They see it as being a issue, whereas MAT's viewpoint is it's an orchestration by the central nervous system in the brain to issues going on. So much like an injury, when you get injured, you get less range of motion. It shuts down the area with inflammation, etc., as a way of protecting the body. So with these other areas, it's almost like a protective mechanism for the body. And what we're looking to do with MAT is actually look for those weak links, improve connection, improve muscular integrity, and off the back of that stability, you get increased range of motion.
What does MAT treatment look like? Obviously, I'm aware, but perhaps people at home are just finding out about it for the first time. It's pretty much table orientated, isn't it?
Yeah, it's table orientated. What we want to try and do is, when we're assessing joint by joint range of motion, is limit the effects of gravity and really just kind of dial into, it's almost like taking a microscopic view before we come back out to sort of satellite view. And this is where you'll have people out there that kind of go, oh well, this is not functional, etc. But it's one of those things where if people look at exercise itself, people have kind of got this misconstrued idea that you have sport-specific exercises, you have exercises that mimic or look like the thing. Exercises don't transfer. Adaptations from exercise transfer. So all you're doing with anything, whether it be MAT, which is I'm applying a force to the system, see how it responds, or whether it's exercise in the gym, it's just to stress the system that we're just trying to get a positive adaptation from. So if we improve your contractile capabilities on the table, when you get up, you get to take all of that with you.
Because every time we've done it and stuff, you obviously test me, then retest me, and there's always a considerable difference in how I walked in and presented to how I walk out, which with a lot of treatments you don't get that. If you get a massage, you might be a little bit sore sometimes. If you get physio, you might get some movement back. Obviously these things are effective. When I see MAT as something that works alongside other things I do, but out of most things you find you get results quite instantly.
Yeah, I mean the results on the table are instantaneous, and the thing is that these other modalities, they all have a place, and it's about finding where these things fit in. Like I know yourself, you have physio, you have massage. There's different stages throughout your week where you look to use things that work best for you. With the MAT process, it's about figuring out what happened post rugby, or post exercise, to see kind of how your body's presenting after you've gone into many collisions and everything else, and then it's about tuning the body up so that you're prepared for that again. So for exercise professionals, or athletes, it's ideal in regards to getting you prepared for a game, because what you're going to go out there and do is try and exert your force on somebody else and stop them from doing that to you. And as for people that go to the gym these days, they really are pushing themselves a lot harder than ever before, and then some people are going 4, 5, 6 times a week. So having a manual therapy in your week where you can kind of just check in on your muscular system and see how it's doing. We kind of liken it to a Formula 1 car. The harder you race it, the more tuned up it is, the more often you would have to pull into the pit stop. So if you had a really nice car sitting at home in the garage, a Ferrari, Lamborghini, and you're only driving around the block sort of once a week, once a fortnight, okay, you're not going to probably get it checked in on too much. But if you're out racing that thing every day, you probably want to get it tuned up more often to make sure it's running at its best. And
this setup is definitely a Ferrari setup that gets run pretty hard. Not Ferrari? Okay.
Not like a dump truck, though.
No, Range Rover Sport. Sorry about that. Travis, if people want to find out about MAT, they want to come and see you, or they want to get more information, where can they do it? How can they do it?
Well, the American-based website is Muscle Activation, muscleactivation.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Travis Allen TT.
At Travis Allen TT.
But there's plenty of information out there. You can find it online. There's some good videos coming up online now. But the best thing I would say to do is actually get down, see an MAT specialist, and actually give yourself an experience so you can figure out how this thing works. Like I say, there's so many different ways to describe it or talk about it, but until you're in the room on the table having an experience, it's really hard to understand what the takeaway is from it.
And obviously, Travis, you work out at Kicks gym in South Kensington. So if you want to find out more information, follow him. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. I know it was quite informative, a lot of information there. Please take it on board. If you've got any questions to Travis or any comments, you disagree, don't like it, put it below. Contact Travis at Travis Allen TT on Twitter. Please rate this video. We really value your feedback. Please subscribe, share this video. We'll be back soon. Big love from me, big love from him. See you soon.
To the greatest amount of force here. Okay, we've created a challenge at the top, whereas before we're having a bit of a rest position. Okay, and that's true of any exercise,